The Formula One world was shaken up this past weekend. Lando Norris, driving his McLaren, didn't just win the Dutch Grand Prix, he dominated it. Crossing the finish line with a crushing 22-second lead over Max Verstappen, Norris left the three-time world champion and his Red Bull eating dust in their own backyard. Such a convincing victory made everyone wonder, is this the beginning of a new era in F1? For 3 consecutive years, Red Bull reigned supreme. Verstappen seemed unbeatable, especially at Zandvoort. But now, the cards are being reshuffled dramatically. McLaren isn't just challenging, they're threatening to topple the giant. With this victory, the Woking team has reduced the gap in the Constructors' Championship to a mere 30 points. And that's not all. Norris is now just 70 points behind Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. Numbers that seemed insurmountable a few races ago now appear surprisingly attainable. The implications are enormous. We're witnessing not just a changing of the guard in race leadership, but potentially a complete turnaround in both championships. Red Bull, who seemed to have 2024 in the bag, now finds itself in a fierce fight to maintain its position. And at the center of it all is Max Verstappen, the driver many consider the best on the grid. But can he maintain that status without a dominant car? In the upcoming races, every lap, every point, every strategic decision could be the difference between glory and defeat. McLaren is on a meteoric rise, Red Bull is struggling to maintain its edge, and we, the fans, are gifted with what promises to be one of the most exciting battles in recent F1 history. Let's return to the Zandvoort circuit and relive the race that may have changed the course of this season. Lando Norris, starting from pole position, didn't have the best of starts. Verstappen, with his characteristic explosive launch, took the lead right into the first turn. It seemed like the beginning of another dominant Sunday for the Dutchman at home. But Norris had other plans. With an overwhelming pace, the Brit from McLaren didn't take long to pressure Verstappen. On lap 18 came the decisive moment. Norris overtook the championship leader with a precise maneuver, and from there on never looked back. With each lap, the lead only grew. The orange car was simply flying on the track. The most impressive part? Norris didn't just win, he demolished the competition. Crossing the finish line 22 seconds ahead of Verstappen is something we haven't seen in F1 for a long time. To put it in perspective, this is the largest margin of victory of the season so far. And as if that wasn't enough, Norris even set the fastest lap of the race on his final pass, with worn tires. After the race, Norris was beaming. He said, "It wasn't a perfect race because of the first lap, but after that it was beautiful and the pace was very strong." The confidence in the young driver's voice was palpable. He knew he hadn't just won a race, he had sent a clear message to the entire grid. With this victory, McLaren hasn't just climbed to the top of the podium, but also positioned itself as a serious threat in the Constructors' Championship. The gap to Red Bull, which seemed insurmountable at the start of the season, is now just 30 points. For a team that was fighting in the midfield a few months ago, this turnaround is nothing short of spectacular. McLaren's evolution this season has been remarkable. Since the updates introduced at the Austrian GP, the Woking team has consistently improved its performance. The upgrade package brought to Zandvoort proved to be another giant step in the right direction. Andrea Stella, the team principal, couldn't hide his enthusiasm. "Lando is performing at a world championship level," he declared. But it's not just Norris who's shining. Oscar Piastri has been a formidable partner, consistently scoring points and even making it to the podium. This young and talented duo is proving to be a lethal combination, capable of challenging even the mighty Red Bull. Paddock experts are beginning to reassess their championship predictions. Helmut Marko, Red Bull's consultant, admitted to being alarmed by the result in the Netherlands. He was incredulous that Norris set the fastest lap without DRS and on the last lap with already worn tires. And it's not just the Constructors' Championship that's at stake. With his dominant victory and the extra point for the fastest lap, Lando Norris has reduced the gap to Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship to 70 points. It may seem like a comfortable margin, but with 9 races still to go and momentum clearly on McLaren's side, anything is possible. Let's look at Norris's performance in recent races. Besides the win in the Netherlands, He has been consistently fast and regular, often finishing on the podium when not winning. His confidence is high, and the car seems to improve with each race. On the other side, Verstappen and Red Bull appear to be facing unprecedented difficulties this season. The Dutchman hasn't won in 5 races, his longest drought since 2020. If this pattern continues, it's not hard to imagine scenarios where Norris starts to rapidly close that points gap. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, acknowledged the threat and said that if it continues like this for the next 9 races, it will be difficult to maintain the lead. The battle for the driver's title, which many considered over a few weeks ago, is now more alive than ever. Every race, every lap, every point becomes crucial. And with McLaren continuing to bring updates and improvements, who knows where this duel might lead us? Red Bull is facing its first period of real turbulence in years. The RB20, which seemed unbeatable at the start of the season, now shows clear signs of weakness, and no one is more frustrated with this than Max Verstappen. After the Dutch GP, Verstappen didn't mince words when talking about the car's problems. The balance of the car, the tires wear out too quickly, but this has been the case recently. Oversteer, understeer, simply no balance, the 3-time champion vented. The problems seem to have started in May. Since then, the situation has only worsened. Christian Horner, team principal, admitted that the team needs to understand where the deficit is. Verstappen's criticisms of the team have become more frequent and open. After the race, he stated, "The last few races haven't been fantastic. This, in a sense, was already a bit alarming." These words sound like a clear warning to Red Bull. Improve the car, or the season might slip through their fingers. Here's the big question indeed. Are we about to witness one of the greatest turnarounds in Formula One history? A team that dominated so absolutely now seems vulnerable, while its rivals gain strength with each race. And at the center of it all is Max Verstappen, the driver many consider the best of the current era. But can he maintain that status without a dominant car? Verstappen's meteoric rise in F1 has largely paralleled the development of the Red Bull car. But now, for the first time in a long while, the Dutchman finds himself driving a car that isn't clearly superior to his rivals. This raises a fascinating question. What is Verstappen's true potential when he doesn't have the best machine on the grid? Historically, F1's great champions have proven their worth not just by winning with the best cars, but also by extracting extraordinary performance from inferior machines. Verstappen has already shown flashes of brilliance in adverse situations, but now faces his greatest test. His complaints about the car can be seen as the natural frustrations of a champion or as signs that he depends more on the equipment than previously thought. We're witnessing one of the most exciting and unpredictable seasons in recent Formula One history. What do you think? Will Verstappen and Red Bull recover? Or are we about to see a new order in Formula One? Leave your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any details of this epic battle that promises to unfold in the coming weeks. Until next time.